Today we're going to look at the tropical rainforest ecosystem. Now, the tropical rainforest biome is mainly found between 15 degrees north and 15 degrees south of the equator. So this is within the equatorial climate zone. It covers only 6% of the Earth's surface, and the main areas of tropical rainfall ecosystems are in the Amazon, Central America, Central Africa, and Indo-Malaysia. Now, the Amazon is the largest remaining rainforest on Earth, usually associated with Brazil, but covers parts of 7 other countries. In Central America, it includes parts of Belize, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Panama. Those in Central Africa include the Cameroon, the Central African Republic, the Republic of the Congo, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Equatorial Guinea, and also Gabon. And those in Indo-Malaysia includes Malaysia, Indonesia, and several other countries in Southern East Asia. Now, the tropical rainforests contain the highest biodiversity of plants and animals on Earth. We estimate a range over 50 to 80% of the world's plant and animal species occur here. The 110 square kilometer area can contain up to 1,500 flowering plants, 750 species of trees, and 400 species of birds, and even 150 species of butterflies. Let's quickly look at how the tropical rainforest cycles nutrients. The tropical rainforest cycles nutrients through a fast and efficient system, but it's also quite fragile. So we firstly have the biomass. These are trees, plants, and animals. They hold the majority of the ecosystem's nutrients, between 80 and 90%. Now, because it's warm and there's wet conditions, this supports rapid growth and high biodiversity in the ecosystem. So as the plants and animals die, they contribute to litter on the forest floor. Now, the litter consists of fallen leaves, dead animals, twigs, and other organic material. And due to these high temperatures and moisture that we just spoke about, the decomposition of this litter is very rapid. Decomposers like fungi and bacteria will break down the litter quickly, releasing nutrients into the top layer of the soil. Below the soil is a layer of weathered rock and bedrock as well. Over long periods of time, weathering released minerals slowly into the soil, replenishing its nutrients. However, this process is very slow compared to nutrient uptake and leaching that occurs. With heavy rainfall, leaching can occur, so the water will drain the soil, washing away soluble nutrients. Now, the soil in a tropical rainforest is often poor in nutrients. This is because decomposition is so fast and nutrients are taken up by the plants almost immediately. There's little long-term storage in the soil. Now, the structure of a rainforest is layered, with each layer receiving different amounts of light and supporting different types of plants and animals. So, the first layer that we're going to look at is the emergent layer. These are the tallest trees. They're up to 60 to 70 meters high and rise above all the other layers, like here. Trees here are widely spaced and have small waxy leaves to reduce the water loss. This layer gets the most sunlight, strong winds, and heavy rain. It's the homes to birds of prey, monkeys, and insects like butterflies. Then, just below this, we have our canopy layer, which is the main layer of the forest. The trees grow between 25 to 45 meters tall and form a dense roof, like here. It blocks up to 98% of sunlight from reaching the lower layers. Most of the rainforest plants and animals live here. It's the home to the birds, the sloths, the monkeys, the frogs, and the insects. These leaves of the trees are broad and drip-tipped to shed rain easily so that the rainwater does not stay on the leaves. Below this, we have the under canopy. These are young trees, small trees, and large shrubs that grow here. There's less light that reaches this layer, so plants grow slower and taller to reach the light. This is the home to the insects, the frogs, the snakes, and some mammals. Below this, we have our shrub layer. They're made up of bushes, small plants, and saplings. Here it's dark and humid, and very little sunlight filters through. Plants here have large leaves to capture as much sunlight as possible. The animals that live here would be insects, snakes, and small birds. Lastly, we have the ground layer or the forest floor. Here it's very dark. Only about 2% of sunlight reaches the ground. Now, the plants that live here are shade tolerant and they grow very slowly. The flora of the forest is covered in dead leaves, litter, and decomposing matter. It's home to fungi, decomposers, insects, and large animals like jaguars or tapirs in some regions. Now, the plants in tropical rainforests have evolved amazing adaptations to survive the hot, wet, and competitive environment. Some have waxy leaves with drip tips that prevent water from collecting on the leaf surface. So the constant rainfall can cause fungi or bacteria to grow on the leaves. So drip tips allow rainwater to run off quickly, keeping the leaf dry and healthy. The wax coating or the cuticle also helps to reduce water loss and protects against insects and also disease. The trees also have buttress roots that provide support in the shallow, nutrient-poor soil. Now the rainforest trees grow very tall to reach the sunlight, but the soil is thin and lacks deep nutrients. So buttress roots spread wide at the base, helping the tree stay upright and absorb nutrients from the topsoil. There are also lianas, which are woody climbing vines that use the trees for support, and this helps them to reach the sunlight. Now lianas roots in the ground but climb up tree trunks to get to the light rich canopy without using energy to grow thick stems like trees. We then also get epiphytes in rainforests, which are plants that grow on other plants, kind of like the lianas. Now epiphytes avoid the dark forest floor by growing on tree branches where there are more light. They don't take nutrients from the host tree, but they absorb moisture and nutrients from the air, the rain, and the debris around them. Lastly, these very tall trees have straight, smooth trunks, and this allows the trees to grow quickly and tall to compete for light. So in a dense forest, sunlight is the most limited resource, so the straight trunks help trees reach the canopy fast. The smooth bark also makes it difficult for climbing plants like vines or fungi to grip the trunk and grow on it. Animals are also very well adapted to live in the tropical rainforest. The first animal that we're going to look at is the sloth. Now firstly, the sloth moves very slowly, and this avoids detection by predators like jaguars. The sloths also have a brownish fur that blends in with the tree bark and the leaves, and the fur often grows green algae, giving them a green tint for better camouflage. They also have hooked claws that are curved to help them hang securely from branches. They also have strong muscular limbs and tendons which lock their claws around the branches, so they can even hang while sleeping and not fall. Then we also have toucans, which are beautiful and unique birds that are perfectly adapted to life in the tropical rainforest, especially in the canopy layer. They have a large, colorful beak, sometimes longer than their head, and despite its size, the beak is light and hollow. This helps them to reach food on branches that are too small to perch on. It's also useful for grabbing insects, lizards, or even eggs. Now, some scientists believe that the beak may help with cooling down by releasing body heat as well. Now, the bright feathers might seem like they would attract predators, but in the dappled light of the rainforest canopy, their colors actually help them blend in with fruit and flowers and leaves. So it's a type of disruptive camouflage. Then, of course, we have primates like monkeys and apes, and they're highly adapted to the tropical rainforest, also living in the canopy. Now, primates firstly have opposable thumbs and toes, which means that they can grip branches tightly. This allows them to climb, swing, and balance safely in the trees where most of their time is spent. They also have prehensile tails that act as a fifth limb. So this means that they can hang, grab, and balance using their tail, especially when moving between branches or feeding. Then we have geckos in the rainforest as well. Now geckos have special toe pads with tiny hair-like structures called seta. These pads let them cling to and climb smooth surfaces like tree trunks, leaves, or even upside down on branches. Now, this is essential for moving safely through the canopy. They also have camouflage skin that blends into leaves, bark, and moss. And this helps them to hide from predators like birds and snakes, and also helps them to sneak up on insects. Now, geckos can also drop their tails if grabbed by a predator. So tail will continue to wiggle, distracting the predators and giving the gecko a chance to escape. Now, some geckos also store fat in their tails for energy. The last one that we're going to look at is stick insects, and they're masters of disguise. They look almost exactly like twigs, branches, or leaves. Some can even sway in the wind and look like a moving branch. So this makes them nearly invisible to predators like birds, frogs, and lizards. They also move very slowly and carefully, often swaying as they walk. This mimics the natural movement of plants in the wind, making them less noticeable to predators. Some species have spines and sharp legs to deter predators as well. Others will drop to the ground and play dead if they're threatened. And a few have bright wings that they flash suddenly to startle predators, and then they hide again. Now, their eggs also have mimicry. They resemble seeds or droppings and often fall to the forest floor. And this helps the egg to go unnoticed by predators or parasites, increasing the chance of survival. Next, we need to look at the feeding relationships within the tropical rainforest. Now, to do this, we're going to look at a food web. Now, the food web in a tropical rainforest is made up of the producers, the primary consumers, the secondary consumers, and the tertiary consumers. Now, producers are made up of plants that use sun energy to make their own food. These include aquatic plants and terrestrial plants. Then we have our primary consumers, which are our herbivores like insects, tapirs, and capybaras. Then our secondary consumers are made up of omnivores like tree frogs, lizards, toucans, and anacondas. And our tertiary consumers are our ocelots, our squirrel monkeys, our harpy eagles, and our jaguars. Now, the food web itself within a tropical rainforest is very complex. Firstly, our aquatic plants can be eaten by capybaras, whereas our terrestrial plants are eaten by capybaras, tapirs, as well as insects. Our insects are eaten by tree frogs, lizards, and squirrel monkeys, as well as toucans. Our tapirs are eaten by our tertiary consumer jaguars, and our capybaras can be eaten by anacondas, jaguars, and harpy eagles. Now, tree frogs and lizards can be eaten by squirrel monkeys. Lizards can also be eaten by ocelots. Toucans and anacondas are eaten by jaguars, whereas ocelots are also eaten by jaguars. Squirrel monkeys are eaten by jaguars and harpy eagles. So here we can see that the top of the food chain is technically our harpy eagles and our jaguars.